Ever open up your Social Security statement and just, I don't know, feel a wave of disappointment? Like that COLA barely makes a dent in, well, the cost of anything these days.
Yeah, it can feel like trying to outrun inflation on a treadmill. You're working hard, but not really getting anywhere.
Exactly. And we're seeing a ton of buzz online about the 2025 Social Security COLA. People are worried, and for good reason. So today we're diving deep into those anxieties and, more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
You're right, there's a lot of chatter out there, and it's understandable. The COLA, or cost of living adjustment, is designed to help seniors maintain their purchasing power as prices rise. It's calculated using the Consumer Price Index, which, as you know, tracks inflation.
So it's supposed to help you keep pace with those rising costs, but
Precisely. But here's the catch. The projected 2.5% COLA for 2025 is causing a stir. Because, while a lot of folks are seeing much higher cost increases in their everyday lives, think about it.
Hmm?
Healthcare, housing, even just going to the grocery store. Those essentials often rise at rates that outpace the COLA.
Exactly. And scrolling through these comments, you can practically feel the anxiety rolling off the screen. It's one thing to hear on the news that inflation is up. It's another to, like, actually see your grocery bill double and then get a KLA notice that feels like a drop in the bucket.
It's not just anecdotal either. The 2024 Retirement Confidence Survey actually found that less than 75% of retirees feel financially secure, with over two-thirds worried about cutting back just to make ends meet. So this isn't just, a few people complaining online. This is a real and widespread concern.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking to read some of these comments. Like Erna Kay, she's worried about maintaining her dignity in retirement.
Yeah.
She worked her whole life, contributed to the system, and now it almost feels like it's not there for her.
Right, and her comment really points to a much larger question. What level of security and dignity should Social Security provide? It was designed to be a safety net, but is that enough in today's world?
That's the million-dollar question. And then you have Peter M., who's facing a potential healthcare crisis. His copay for a CT scan is apparently projected to skyrocket from $75 to $200 in 2025. He's worried about affording essential medical care, which, I mean, who isn't?
And that's where, really understanding Medicare becomes so important, especially the difference between traditional Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans. So traditional Medicare is a fee-for-service system, while Medicare Advantage plans are offered by private insurance companies. They might have different costs, different coverage options, and different networks.
So you could be hit with unexpected costs if you're not really, really careful.
Exactly. And that's why it's so essential to actually, take the time to compare plans during open enrollment and actually choose one that aligns with your needs and budget. Don't just assume that your current plan will still be the best option next year.
It's like trying to navigate a maze, especially with those rising healthcare costs.
It can definitely feel overwhelming, yeah. But here's the good news. We're about to, shed some light on these complexities and empower you to take control.
Okay, that's reassuring because some of these comments are, well, pretty disheartening. Like Marcus S., he's terrified of property taxes forcing seniors out of their homes. He's painting a bleak picture of like a full-on senior housing crisis.
It's true that property taxes can be a major burden, especially for seniors on a fixed income.
Mhm.
But, and this is important, there's a glimmer of hope. A lot of states offer property tax exemptions or relief programs specifically designed for seniors.
So there might be resources available that people don't even know about.
Precisely. And that's something to remember. You're not alone in this.
Mhm.
There are often options and support systems in place. You just need to know where to look. And we'll dive into some of those resources in a bit. But first, let's maybe address some of the proposed solutions people have been bringing up.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in those worst-case scenarios, but there are usually, hopefully, solutions if you know where to look. Speaking of solutions, these comments are full of ideas about what should be done. Like Carl F., he's saying we should just eliminate taxes on Social Security altogether.
Right.
Sounds great, but I'm guessing it's not that simple.
You're right. It's a little more nuanced than that.
Well,
So some states already don't tax Social Security benefits, but like making that change at a federal level,
yeah.
that would have major, major implications.
What kind of implications are we talking about?
Well, I mean, think about it. Social Security benefits, that's a huge source of revenue for the federal government, right?
Right.
Eliminating taxes on those benefits, that would mean a substantial budget shortfall.
Okay, so then how would they even make up for it? Like, how would the government make up for that lost revenue?
That is the million-dollar question. I guess they could raise other taxes, they could cut spending in other areas, or, the other option, increase the deficit. Each of those has its own set of
Right, a
consequences.
domino effect.
Totally.
Yeah.
And speaking of domino effects, we also have Stefan G. He's wondering, why can't seniors just get 7.5% back from their FICA contributions since it's a 15% total?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. It seems logical, but
But there's a but.
it's not that straightforward.
Okay.
And this is where it's so important to really like fundamentally understand how Social Security works. It's not like your own personal savings account where you
Right.
just get back exactly what you put in.
Right.
It's a pay-as-you-go system.
Okay, so walk me through it. Like, how does that work exactly?
Okay, so imagine it like a relay race, right?
Okay.
Current workers are paying into the system through their FICA taxes. That money is being used right now to pay benefits to current retirees.
So the money that I'm paying in taxes now isn't being saved for, like, my own retirement.
Not exactly, no. It's going directly to support the retirees of today.
Wow.
And then when you retire, the workers of that time, they'll be funding your benefits.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's all interconnected.
Exactly, yeah. It's like this giant generational pact.
Wow, I like that.
And that's why suggestions like the one from, let's see, Ludwig S., his suggestion is so interesting. He wants to eliminate the $130,000 cap on Social Security contributions.
Because right now, anything above that isn't taxed by Social Security.
Exactly. So if you eliminate that cap or even raise it, that would mean higher income earners, they're contributing more to Social Security.
Which, I mean, that could really help strengthen the system for the future, right?
Yeah, potentially. And there's always a but, right?
Right.
It also brings up some questions about like fairness and the potential impacts on the workforce.
Right, because if you're suddenly taking a much bigger chunk out of someone's paycheck, they might not be too happy about that.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance. And of course, we can't forget about Monica T. She's bringing up a really important point about, well, government spending. She's frustrated that billions are being sent overseas while seniors right here are struggling to afford basic necessities.
It's hard, when you're worried about putting food on the table, paying your bills, and it's like, where do our priorities lie?
It's complicated, right? We're
Mm,
talking domestic spending, international spending. It's like spinning plates. There's no easy answer, and that's probably why it sparks so much debate.
for sure. And while all that's going on, it's easy to feel powerless. But, like, there are things that we can do, right, as individuals.
Absolutely. Like that saying, knowledge is power, and taking control. That can really help with that feeling of anxiety a lot of people are feeling. Like Ingrid L. mentioned, her Medicare Advantage premium, it's going up a whopping 65% in 2025.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? That's a huge jump.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show how important it is to really take a close look at your plan, especially during open enrollment.
So don't just assume that what you have now is still going to be the best.
Exactly. Shop around, do
Yeah.
your research, and don't be afraid to switch if you find something that's a better fit. And actually, beyond healthcare, there are a lot of other ways to, take charge of your situation. Remember Marcus and his concerns about property taxes.
Yeah.
So a lot of local governments and senior centers, they have people on staff who are literally there to help connect seniors with those, often overlooked property tax relief programs.
Oh. So it's like finding hidden treasure.
Exactly. Sometimes a little research, a quick phone call, it can potentially save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And on a broader level, I really think Hanzi makes a good point about, intergenerational understanding. He's really urging those younger generations to like wake up and realize that, what, Social Security is health. It impacts everyone.
Yeah. It's not us versus them.
Big
We're
line.
all in this together. Finding some common ground. That's crucial if we want this program to stay afloat long term.
I totally agree.
So I guess where does that leave us? We've talked about those anxieties surrounding the 2025 CLA, healthcare costs going through the roof. And we even got into the nitty-gritty of how Social Security actually works. And
Right.
it's a lot, especially when you're just trying to enjoy your retirement. But I mean, it's not all doom and gloom.
Right. Definitely not. We did talk about some very real concerns, but the biggest takeaway here, knowledge is power. If you understand those challenges, if you know what resources are available to you, that's how you can make smart decisions about your retirement and, really advocate for what you need.
I love that. And remember, even those small steps can make a big difference. Whether it's comparing those Medicare plans or maybe looking into those property tax exemptions or even just staying informed about any potential changes, taking action, that's what can make a difference in your financial well-being. So keep asking those questions, stay curious, and, you're not alone on this journey. And that's it for today's deep dives. We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration into the topics that matter most to you.